Social work. Oh boy, I'm about to call out one of my other groups. I'm doing so much, y'all. How y'all doing? No more people pleasing family. I need to restart that. I need to restart it, but we can't do that. We can't do that. We're just gonna start where we are because we're trying to make things happen. We're trying to reach the world out here. But we I want to go on and get started today real quickly, and talk about a subject that I've kind of been studying a lot, and I've been having some great breakthroughs with my clients, and I want to share some of the things that we've been learning through this process. And it's relative to core beliefs. Now, some of us may be familiar or may have an idea what a core belief is, what those terms are, but I want to, kind of enlighten you if you're not fully understanding or aware of that. But core beliefs is, and I'm just going to read this. A core belief is a deep-seated fundamental thought or assumption that we hold about ourselves. So it's something that we believe about ourselves, um, others, or the world. So something we believe about ourselves, others, something we believe about others or the world. Okay. Um, which shapes how we think, feel, and behave. How we think, feel, and behave. Core beliefs are a driving force that determine the outcomes for you in your relationships and situations. And core beliefs are just beliefs, they're thoughts. They're thoughts. So radically, things can change in your life by simply changing your thoughts. A lot of our thought patterns, you all. Ha- let's just be honest for a moment. How many of you all know for sure that your thought pattern is off? Off meaning that often the things I'm thinking about as far as what's happening to me or what's happening to my environment or the ability that I have to control my outcomes, I'm feeling like I'm having a lot of negative thinking. As a matter of fact, my thinking is taking me to a place sometimes where it makes me feel very down and depressed. And many times that is getting me in bad situations, right? And so our thought patterns can shift, and we want to talk about that real quick, right? So, um, our core beliefs are a big part of what make us. So let's just use an example. So a core belief would influence the way that I handle being in a situation where I call somebody and they don't call me back. I don't know if any of y'all have ever experienced that before, but I don't know if you had a friend, loved one, lover, or somebody that you call and they don't call you back. It's not just that they didn't call you back, but somebody else just called them too and they picked up the phone, right? Okay. So that, based on my core belief about myself is going to determine how I respond to that situation, how I feel about that situation. If I go running after them, if I become happy or sad, of course we're not going to be happy about that, okay? So it determines how, like, core beliefs determine how, um you know how things play out as far as relationship, right? So if someone doesn't seem interested in a relationship that I'm interested in, just similar to what I just said, my core belief is going to determine whether or not I'm able to establish a healthy relationship with them, if it's somebody that I should be developing a healthy relationship with, or if I'm going to be able to create the boundary of separation, knowing that if I move in this direction with this similar, yeah, this isn't a situation that I'm that that's new. This is my not my first trip to the rodeo as far as this experience, and by now I know that I need to leave this situation, but and I just need to let it go because they aren't treating me right. They're not treating me starting off. This is just someone new that I don't even know. They're not treating me in a way that I know that I should be treated, but based on what my core belief is, again, this deep seated fundamental thought or assumption that I hold about myself and about others, meaning what they think about me, because some of us believe many times that others don't think of us in a high regard, right? And so then that determines how we move in relationships, old and new, right? So, real quick, so core beliefs also tell us that we, whether we're good or whether we feel that we're good or that we're not good, that we're deserving of love or we're not deserving of love. It determines, our core belief determines the outcomes as far as how we are going to interact and be treated in relationships. Think about this. If I have a core belief that um, I'm not good enough or I don't deserve things, I'm not only going to get that treatment from other people because that's my belief system, but guess what? I am going to treat myself in the same way because I'm going to sacrifice myself for others just to connect because I really don't feel myself like I'm good enough. So I'm not going to be able to mirror to them how to treat me. So these are what core beliefs how they work. And so if someone did not call you back, it's really not so much that they didn't call you back. It's more about what you already believe about yourself. So what is it? Think about right now. Think about, you may have been in a situation or scenario very similar to this. What is it that you really believe about yourself? How is it that you respond if someone treats you this way? What do you think about you? Do you feel very confident? Are you able to draw the line and the boundary when you see that someone may not be interested or don't show interest? All right. So, so this is some of the things that core beliefs do that keep us in a place that we don't need to be in. I'm gonna run through this, right? So it keeps me beneath my potential. And we've talked about that. Core beliefs keep me beneath my potential. Again, the reason why I can't get with people who I should be with, and not to say anything negative to people who just don't have good character. I don't need to be around those people, but a lot of times the reason why I'm around those people is because of what I think about me. This is all that I can get. That's what I think. That is a thought, not a fact. It's a thought. And as long as in the Bible it says, as a man, and in this case a woman thinketh, so is he. It's right in the word. So our outcomes are based on our beliefs about situations, right? That affects everything. So in a situation where somebody, it seems like I'm getting rejection, the way that I respond to that is not so much based on the action that they perform. It's more about what I really think about me in the situation, a core belief. So it keeps me beneath my potential because I might not feel like I could get anything better. I can't get a better relationship, right? I can't be in a different situation. What else does it do? It keeps me stuck in trauma. Now, this is a big one right here. And, I like talking a lot about trauma because I'm just into it. Because when we kind of navigate through trauma and understand how it has impacted us, whether it's the big T or the little T, they say, um, then we can have breakthroughs in our lives. So this is the thing, right? So why would that lack of a phone call back disturb me? Like why would that upset me? Well, check this out. Again, I like to just use just a random example. So if my parents didn't make me feel important when I was younger, or a caregiver didn't make me feel important, they weren't bad people. Sometimes we think of them that way, but we don't necessarily look at what happened to them. Not that I needed to get that, but we don't look at, they weren't capable of giving you anything in the first place because they were already screwed up, okay, from the start. And they try to pass it down to you, but you're stopping it. You're stopping it, right? You're stopping the generational cycles and curses and things, right? So they didn't call me back. Um, and it reminds me, so this started, my parents didn't make me feel important. At least that's how I felt, that they didn't make me feel important. So when you don't call me back, I'm having the same, this stuff is familiar, more familiar than what we think it is. I'm having the same feelings of rejection. Think back on a scene when this might have happened when I was young. I'm thinking back on that rejection when dad left, or when mom left, or when I was passed around from foster home to foster home, or placement to placement. Okay. Um, that feeling of rejection and loneliness, insecurity that I felt as a result of not getting the treatment that I needed to make me feel important. Okay. All right. And so the reality is that when the phone call is not returned, the core belief has already been present. Okay. The core belief has already been present, and it's going to be the basis on how I start to move after that action. It's going to be the basis on how I start to feel after that action. I got to make this point because this is something I start recognizing. I've been testing it. Um, a lot of times that feeling that we get if someone doesn't return the call, think about how you might feel. Okay. Some of us start to feel angry. Well, that's a secondary emotion. It's something beneath that. And in coaching, we start to process what the emotion is beneath that. But let's just say um, it did make me feel, um, that I was um, lonely, or it made me feel rejected. And then a response to the rejection, when I felt that rejection, when they made me feel that way in that moment, the emotion that I had, let's just say that it's anger. So the point I wanted to make is that many times that anger that we felt, some people will feel sad. So if I'm getting rejection, do I feel angry? Do I feel sad? Do I feel some other emotion? Usually that same emotion is the emotion tied to the phone. The emotion that I experienced as a child when that happened, if I felt sad or anger, is the same emotion that I'm feeling when I get rejection today, which means like, man, I am stuck in trauma, because that first experience that I had with not feeling secure, or not feeling or feeling rejected, or feeling lonely, feeling not wanted, not feeling loved or lovable, that same feeling that I experienced is nothing new. I have been experiencing that at the core all along. So moving fast forward, okay. So this is the thing about it takes me to my trauma. Once that, so as a result of that feeling, I developed a belief, okay? I developed a belief that I'm unlovable, that I developed a belief, and this shows up today. This shows up today. I developed a feeling I'm not loved. It's a difference in being not loved and unlovable. Unlovable, I don't feel like anybody. I'm not capable of receiving love. So you know what? If you've ever felt like that, or if that's a core belief that you have, you know what you have to be mindful of, and this is what we talked about the other week: sabotage. Because if somebody does show up to start loving on you, you're going to feel like, what the heck is wrong with them? And you might just sabotage the situation. And many times when we do it, we're not even consciously aware that this is what we're doing. And so that's why we stay again beneath our potential. Beneath our potential, because once we get something that is really healthy for us, we're not ready for it. And that's why we stay in this cycle. So things have to be changed out. We have to get out of the state of reliving the trauma. But the only reason why the situation with the phone and you're not calling me back, um, the only way that that won't take me back to that trauma on an unconscious level, it's unconscious because I'm not necessarily thinking about when I was a child, but I'm feeling those feelings from a wound as a child. That wound made me consistently feel throughout my life, all the way into deep adulthood, that I'm unlovable, that I'm unloved, that I'm unaccepted, that I'm unattractive, that I'm unworthy. Okay. And I talk to some of my clients. I say, which one do you feel? They say, some of them say, I feel all of those. Grown adults, younger and older, right? And so when we change that core belief, we start responding different to what appears to be rejection, because the real talk is that sometimes we're feeling rejected and nobody has even rejected us. We're just so used to being rejected that we will get anxious and mess up a good situation, right? We'll mess up a good situation just out of our own anxiety. So these beliefs a lot of times are developed early on. What we want to do is change that belief. Okay. Um, and We have to this is a really powerful thing, that everything that has happened to you in your life, right? Everything that's happened to you in the past, even your trauma, is at this point is only a thought. Think about that. Everything that has happened to you up to this point is only a thought. Okay? It's only a thought. So it feels like it's something more than a thought. But at this point, looking back, it's just a thought. Now, we don't want to downplay the realities of our experiences, but at this point, the experiences of the past are a thought that you, between you and God, have the ability to navigate, control, and change into something brand new. In other words, I don't have to continuously be feeling as though I'm unlovable, as though I'm unaccepted, or that that nobody wants me. I can change that thought to 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 that I am attractive, I am lovable. Hey, I'm a superstar. You feel what I'm saying? By golly, people like me, even if you don't quite believe it, because it says, as a man thinketh or a woman thinketh, so is he. So when we start to think these responses, think these types of thoughts, then our body catches up to it. Now that's the simple way of doing it. That's the simple way of doing it. But if you are needing to have a deeper level of change, because it usually doesn't just happen that easy, then you need to give us a call. You need to touch base with us. And if you want one of us to follow up with you, we have a number of male, female coaches, somebody that will match up with you. Just put in the chat box coach, and we will reach out to you and make sure that you get the support that you need. But until next time, I hope y'all have a blessed and happy weekend. Y'all take care now. All right. God bless.